In this video, I'm going to teach you how to draw walls. Before we begin, I want to just kind of walk you through the exterior of this building and give you some information about it. As I've already mentioned, this section in the middle or on this side is going to be sort of done as its own separate piece. So for right now, we're just going to focus on the walls that you see here that go from this level one all the way up to here. We've got the roof above, which we're going to have to create a cornice for. So these are going to be masonry walls on the exterior, and then we're going to create interior walls that are both fire rated around the stairs and then address the plumbing walls as well. So I'm going to start by going to the level 2 floor plan because that's where our action really begins. We can draw the walls in any order, at any height, of any type, and they're really easy to change later. But for right now, I'm going to go ahead and start with the exterior walls. These are masonry walls. So the first thing I'm going to do is measure them. And so these walls are 10 inches thick, and you can see that the walls over here are the same thickness as the walls here. And then these walls on this side are a little bit thinner. You might be wondering if there's walls already here because you're seeing these two offset lines, but these are really the outlines of the first and second floors. So there are no walls yet, and you can see right here that there's no walls. So we're going to start on the level 2 floor plan once again, and I'm going to start by creating these generic walls. Now, when I go to architecture and wall, there isn't a generic 10-inch masonry wall. And the reason why we want a generic one is because we don't want a bunch of stuff inside the structure, because the architect may need to slice through and detail these. So what I'm going to do instead is select a generic 8-inch and make it a 10-inch by editing the type. And then I'm going to duplicate. This means that any change I make will happen to a copy. So this is almost like a save as function. And I'm going to call this a 10-inch wall. And then I'm going to edit the guts. You can see here there's not a whole lot of information except that the structure itself is 8 inches because, again, it's a generic one. So I'm going to change that to 10. Hit OK. Hit OK. And then I'm going to start hovering and drawing. So as I zoom in, you can see it's situating to the center point of the wall or the center line, and that's because of this setting. I can get it to start at the finish face, whichever I want. I just tend to start with the center line if I can. So we'll go ahead and draw this. Let's see. Oh, it's picking up the center line of the offset. So let's go ahead and do the exterior finish face. And all I'm doing is just clicking and then clicking, sliding my mouse and clicking. I'm not holding down my button or anything. Okay. You can see these walls are thick till right about here, and then they get thin. Okay, so we've got our CMU walls, our masonry walls drawn. Now we're going to go ahead and take a look at these exterior walls on this side, and I believe these are a little thinner, but I'm going to check. So those are 8 inches. So a generic 8-inch, if we've got it, will work. What walls are made out of and sort of their general composition, where we put them, that's all in the purview of the architect. That's not our responsibility to figure out, nor are we able to by liability, nor should we. So I'm just aligning. And it's maybe a little thin, but that's okay. Okay, so those are connected. And now I'm going to do the fire rated walls that are building this core right here, because we want to make sure that the staircase will not catch on fire if any other part in the building does. So let's go ahead and measure these. Okay, so that's an 8-inch partition. And here, our 2-hour fire rating is 6 1/8. So we're going to increase the size again by editing the type. And these only change in this Revit file. So we've changed the name, but we need to change the thickness. So if we go to the structure here, you can see this has a little bit more information. Each one of these layers of gyp on either side of the structure counts for an hour fire rating. So this is just fire rated drywall. So there's 2 layers on each side. So that's what you're seeing here. And the structure, the metal stud on the inside is a little bit thicker. So we're going to just increase this, even though the stud itself probably wouldn't get thicker. We would add a different material. But for right now, we're going to just keep it as is. Okay, so now we should have a nice thick fire rated wall. And masonry is, to a degree fire rated, but we are just wanting to make sure that our core is fire rated as well. Okay. And then the next thing is we've got some plumbing walls here, and that's to accept all the piping for the sinks and toilets. So let's go ahead and measure those. And these were how thick again? Oops, this one. 6.5. Okay. So I'm creating a 6.5 inch thick wall. And I'm hitting escape to release the wall drawing function. Okay, so we've got all the plumbing walls in, and now we're just going to go back to the regular old 1 hour fire rated partitions, which is probably what you're most familiar with. Okay, so a couple of things before we move on. I want to draw your attention to the fact that there's 2 openings here, one here and one here. So these are not doors, but basically openings in the wall that one might pass through. So in order to create those, you're going to select the wall, and you're going to hit, click on the wall and hit, let's see, why is it not letting me do it? Wall opening. Okay, so select the wall and then click start and then end. Okay, good. And then same thing here, wall opening. Okay. And so if you want to take a quick look at what that will look like, go to View. We're going to go to 3D View and Camera. Click once, click twice, and then that's what they look like. Be careful doing what I just did. There's nothing wrong with it, except that it'll create a bunch of 3D views here that you're not going to want to need because it'll kind of junk up your project browser. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that, but I wanted to at least show you what that looks like. So we've got all of our different wall types placed for now, and in the next video I'm going to show you how to connect them to the right start and stop points.